Hello, Miss Scott. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, and I hope you are too.
Thank you. I am. Before we get started, my name is Antoinette, and I'm going to be your therapist today. I want to share with you that before we get started, when I sent you out in the waiting room and you filled out your new client package, in it was an informed consent document. And what that is that you're giving me consent for us to be in partnership for therapy. In that package is also your HIPAA rights, which states that you have the right to your privacy. I will not violate your HIPAA rights unless you threaten to harm yourself, you threaten to harm some others, okay? And also if the court subpoena your rights, and then I will violate your rights. Other than that, um, you're what we do in our session, you're safe here. Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, great. So let's get started by asking, what brings you to therapy today?
Well, my anxiety has been extremely high lately with the COVID and all this racism that's going on in the world today. So my anxiety has been extremely high.
Ms. Scott, can you tell me a little more about that?
Well, my anxiety is high because I'm trying to take all precautions from the virus because the virus don't discriminate on age, color, or sex or anything. It can attack anyone. And I'm high risk. I don't have an immune system. So I have a greater chance of catching the COVID unlike others.
I hear that you say that you have a greater chance for catching the COVID because you don't have an immune system, Ms. Scott. Please tell me more about that.
Well, maybe about 15 years ago, I had my spleen removed. I had so many health issues in the past, but I overcame them. But my immune is suppressant, so any little thing or for instance, if you have a common cold and a common cold to me, if I'm around someone with the cold, my greater chances I'll have the flu. So I try to stay away from individuals that's sick or something like that. But sometimes it's hard if you have to run out to do an errand, and I only go out only if it's important. I don't go just to go. But I'm trying my best to stay safe um, because I also had a transplant in 2013, and I take immune suppressant medicine, and a lot of different medications don't go with my medicine.
Mm.
So I have to be extra cautious because I don't know if that COVID vaccination will go with the medications that I take. So that has me a bit worried too. So I'm just practicing all precautions of being safe, trying to limit my ability of going outside, just kind of like hang out in the house.
I understand how that can be cause for anxiety with COVID and knowing that you are at a higher risk than others because you've had a transplant. I see how you can be anxious and display anxiety symptoms with that being the case.
And I know for me, when I do go outside, when it's necessary, others, they don't practice social distance. So
Mm.
I just make sure that I remain my 6 feet away from others. I can control my 6 feet. I control my space. So I try to keep that in mind when I see a whole bunch of people just crowded up together. So I just practice social distance at all times, no matter what others are doing. I just distance myself. I have to protect me. So
Mm.
I try to take all precautions of doing that. And other things that I do is try to keep hand sanitizer in my jacket, in my purse, in my car. Everywhere I look, I just try to keep hand sanitizer so I can have access to that at all times. But my anxiety is high. But I just try to, practice the safety things that can help prevent the spread of COVID. So that's where I'm at right now.
You seem to be on top of the safety precautions. I heard you say that you practice social distancing, you practice avoiding people, and you practice using hand sanitizer. Ms. Scott, how does it make you feel when you see people who are not social distancing?
Well, I know it take a lot to get used to this new COVID thing. So sometimes it's easy to forget that it's the virus going on because it's a new way of life for now. So what I do, as I stated before, I just try to be mindful of the distance part, and I also like when you go in stores and they have like the marking 6 feet. I think that's very helpful
Mhm,
because it's easy to get thrown off track, because of the new way of living just for now.
mhm.
But hopefully they'll have a I know they have a vaccination out now, several of them, but hopefully will come to pass and everything will be back to normal.
Hoping for it too, Miss Scott. I'm hoping for it too. I also heard you say that racial profiling or the racism that's going on now also has you worried. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, especially after the riot happened on January 6th. I believe that was the date. January 6th, 2021 at the White House. When you just saw that hatred just going on in the world, I thought I knew we was never past it, but I thought the world would be in a better place by now, but it's not. And there's so many angry Trump supporters. And when you go outside, you don't know who is who because they're no longer wearing the hoods. They're, it's just bare face, and you don't know who is who, and you don't know what kind of day they're having. My anxiety is high. I don't want someone to pull up by my car and just start shooting in my car or doing mean things to me because of the color of my skin. Because that seems to be happening around the world lately, just because the color of your skin.
Miss Scott, if I heard you say that you're worried because of what happened at the White House, and people are no longer wearing hoods, so it could be anyone who is the racist now, um, and black people or the people who are of your color are being targeted. Do you feel safe?
Well, no, not when I think of the young lady Breonna Tell when she was resting in her bed and they did an overkill. That was just an overkill, and it happens. It still happening frequently, even after the George Floyd. It's not getting better.
Do you have any children? Do you feel safe for your children if you have children?
Yeah, I have two children. I have two young adults. One is 24. She lives in Durham, and I worry about her all the time as a mother. And I have a son that's 30. Um, he's at home with me, but I don't worry about him too much because I have a hands-on. But I worry about my daughter that's away that I don't see every day. But I talk to her all the time, but visually seeing her and putting my hands on her, that's different. So yes, I do worry about it. And then she worked in law enforcement, so I really worry about her.
So I'm hearing three things that's causing you anxiety: um, the COVID, racism, and you worry about your daughter. Is that what I'm hearing you say, Miss Scott?
Yes, ma'am, it is. That's what you're hearing me say.
Can you
And all
tell me?
three of those things, and all three, I'm sorry. And all three of those things is causing my anxiety extremely high.
Miss Scott, are you on any medication for your anxiety?
Yes, from time to time, I may need to take a little something for my anxiety, um, because I'm easy to become overwhelmed. just with the world and with everything going on, I'm easily overwhelmed. So I have to take a little something for my anxiety to knock the edge off, and then usually I'm okay. If I skip it, it's not good.
I can
I
see
skip.
how those factors can be overwhelming. Can you tell me a little bit more about your daughter and why you worry about her? I know that you mentioned that she's in law enforcement.
I worry about her because she's a black young lady, and just that alone worries me. And then she's in another city, and I don't get to see her face to face often. So that worries me when I'm used to seeing her every day. So
Wow, Ms. Scott, um, we have an hour time limit, and so we're at the end of our session. I would like for you to come back again in a couple of days to continue working on your anxiety. Is that something that you would like?
I look forward to seeing you in a couple of days as well. It felt good being able to talk to someone, well, to have a listener, to listen to me express my feelings without taking any judgment on me. So yes, I would love to make an appointment to come back and see you again in a few days.
Thank you. If you can just make your appointment with our receptionist, and I'll see you in a couple of days. Thank you.
Thank you. And it was a pleasure meeting with you.
It's my pleasure as well.
Thank you.